Hello everybody, welcome back to 2C TV. I'm 2C and this is your latest update from British politics. The establishment cover-ups continue. Politicians and the political establishment in general are carrying on with their deflection and distraction tactics, and now the mainstream media. We're going to be talking about what's been going on over the last few months. Ever since Keir Starmer became Prime Minister, problems in this country have been accelerating on steroid. All the existing problems, not that things were great beforehand under the Tories, but things are getting worse and worse. But a number of unfortunate events have occurred since July, the 4th of July, when Labour won the general election. There have been a number of cover-ups since then, a number of attacks since then, and the role of the media, the relationship between the media and the political establishment need to be scrutinized once again, because last time we saw something like this happen was in 2020 when we had the lockdowns being announced, and the mainstream media became the propaganda arm of the state. Now we have the same problem. Some of you might have already heard, this is about all the recent scandals that have happened, from the Southport attack, the British soldier being stabbed, and many other issues, including Ricky Jones, the Labour politician who was also arrested. First things first, let's talk about Southport. Now, obviously, we can't get into the legalities of that because there's a whole legal process, but the mainstream media continue to show you this photo. Look, it's a young, cute, innocent child. But the real photo of Axel Rudakwamana is this. This is an adult right now in jail waiting for his trial. Why is it important to talk about this? What is the cover-up, media cover-up in this situation? Because the Southport attacker, Axel, his trial date will be on the 20th of January 2025. It's not the only one. Anthony Essen, who attacked a British soldier in Gillingham, stabbed him, got arrested, got charged. Different time, different event, different time, different place. His trial is also going to be on the 20th of January. He's not the only one. Ricky Jones, a Labour politician who threatened to, well, you can see in this image what he was saying. He told people to target people's throats if they are not left-wing. Said all the right-wingers, the far right, we should basically slit their throat. He was also arrested. Again, this was at a different time, different date, different place. All different events, different times. All three trials will be on 20th of January. Why is it important? All at the same time. There's a lot of people coming out saying this is a political decision. The judiciary is becoming political. Why 20th of January? 20th of January is the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump. The mainstream media, at the same time as all these things been announced, have come out to make announcements. Sky News and BBC News specifically, because these are the main two channels who were reporting things. They have already said that they will be dedicating the 20th of January to the inauguration of the new president. They will be sending their reporters, their correspondents, their helicopters, everything to focus on that. So whatever else happens on that day, it won't really get covered. All at the same time as well. They don't want you to ask questions. They will write an article on BBC News' website in a corner somewhere that there is a trial, there's another trial, there's a third trial. There's been some reactions already. Winston Marshall said just as Axel Rudakwamana, and obviously his terrorist charges by Merseyside police coincided with Labour's budget in October, this is done intentionally, absolutely. Because that was the same time. Do you remember when the charges were announced about Axel, the Southport attacker, when we discovered that, there was a link with Islamism and terrorism? The legacy media didn't really focus on that. We talked about it on social media. People talked about it. They didn't talk about it. Why? Because it was at the same time as the Labour budget. That's how they do it. Very subtle tactics. Some of you are familiar with this former police officer, Norman Brennan. London police officer retired in 2009 after 31 years, a leading campaigner on police protection and media commentator, right? On knife crime, gun crime, everything. He came out to say this. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but it's interesting that these three very high-profile cases all start on the same date as worldwide attention may be deflected away from these cases. Lots have posted on this coincidence, but I'm sure they will all still be highly reported on, right? And that last part is sarcastic, obviously. Well, we already saw what happened with Axel when the charges came out. The actual corporate media just focused on Rachel Reeves' budget. Even right now, you're not allowed to talk about them much because they say there's a whole legal process. You will get into trouble to speculate. Now, we can speculate the date of the trials. There's nothing wrong with that. You could question it. That doesn't actually does anything to prejudice the case. The cases, who happen at different dates, all happen to have the same exact same time. What a coincidence. Henry Bolton, former leader of UKIP, said, "It's impossible to credibly argue that the judicial system is not being influenced by political interference from the government when you see this sort of thing going on. The inevitable consequence of that will be loss of trust in judicial decisions." Henry Bolton also has a point. Now, we know how they will be covering the inauguration of Trump on the 20th of January. We already know that. They are already preparing a lot of stories because it's a whole day and they're going to start early. They've already made the announcement that they were going to have a special program, right? They're going to dedicate the whole day to Trump. Now, usually we like that. Usually we're like, oh, good, the mainstream media is finally focusing on Donald Trump. They're going to focus on negative ways, obviously. They're going to talk about all the scandals, all the negative angles that we're going to have. What they don't know, the legacy media, is that not many people will be watching the corporate media side. If those who want to watch the inauguration, which is a short event in terms of the public part of it, that moment, that's, you can watch that on new media. There will be broadcast live streams on X, for example, on many other channels in America. But the rest of us will also be covering what is happening in our courts in the United Kingdom on that day. More people will be watching new media channels than the corporate media channels. What they don't know is that this is 2024. Actually, by that point, it will be 2025. This is no longer 1995 when broadcast media control the whole narrative. They are desperate. They are drowning. They are receiving subsidies in order to survive and breathe for the next day. They don't have the viewers. They don't make profit. There is no backing anymore. But they still think they have power. Well, obviously, there will be American new media outlets focusing on the Trump inauguration, which is, again, it's only like an hour or so, whatever. The rest of us, we will be covering the trials. Because it's not a whole day. The rest of the events on inauguration will be in the evening when they have a party and the concert and everything else they're going to have. It's not really a news story. They let them have fun in Washington. For those in the United Kingdom, and actually in the Western world in general, these important trials must be reported as much as we can, obviously, depending on what comes out of the courts. That is the other problem. They are having them in different places at the same time, so that we're not going to be able to be in all places. Now, we're going to try our best. I'm going to coordinate with other news channels, new media news channels. I mean, the problem we have is that we don't really have many new media news channels in the UK. We have a lot of political commentators, we have a lot of podcasters, but we do need more news channels. Of course, we got Tom Robinson's team. Hopefully, we could be working with Urban Scoop. Urban Scoop do a good job. Obviously, Rebel Media, they also do, Rebel News from Canada also do work on British politics when there's big stuff happening in Britain. There are a couple of news channels. obviously the political commentators, they will be covering that as well. But obviously we need news channels to make sure and independent reporters to be there to actually report from the courts. And obviously I will be here to bring you guys those reports. I'm going to try and see if I can send some of our people. Obviously I'll probably send Niak Gorbani, Mr. Banana Man, to one of the trials to see what information he could get. I'll be working with Vicky Krishta, who also does work with Rebel News and Urban Scoop. Hopefully I can send her to one of the trials as well. On behalf of 2CTV, we will have our people, we will have our reporters, but we have to focus on this. Because the media think if they don't report it, you're not going to know. But we are here. Ivan says, I feel these trials will be postponed. There's no indication yet, but we'll find out what they end up doing. Mike says, meanwhile, the Manchester airport thugs, they still haven't been charged, by the way. This is in relation to the two Islamic brothers who decided to randomly attack armed police officers in Manchester airport. Luckily, they survived because the armed police could have actually taken them out, but they still haven't been charged. Insanity. Well, all independent journalists need to be at the trials and do it live so we can see what happens. Absolutely. I mean, we can't do the live from inside the courtroom, obviously, but outside the courtroom, we will be there. And I'm going to get some of our reporters to actually get out there and see what we can do. It's crazy. I'll choose one of the courts to go to myself as well. Right. United 90 says, we are not going to forget about them, scumbags. That's the thing, by the way, this is just the beginning of the trials, and they're not really going to be, they can't completely put a lid on it, because whatever happened since July, what happened in Southport, the attack on little girls, and many others were also injured, the coordinated work between the media and the political side, not to mention certain things, including the link between Axel and Al-Qaeda, that eventually had to come out because they eventually had to make the announcement that the charges are now here. Because they still have to report, they still have to make the announcement. The actual state has to make the announcement. It's about how many media outlets will actually cover it. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the 20th of January is the beginning of the trials, right? The beginning of the trials being reported, not being reported, is actually more important than the rest of it. Because even if there's certain cases go for weeks and weeks, by that point, they've already distracted you. They want you to forget about them. But if new media outlets will be there to continue to keep you guys posted, then obviously it doesn't really matter what the media does. They think they're covering up, but it doesn't matter because we will be there. Liberal says, if you did not get a timely notification for this video, unsubscribe, wait a couple of minutes and subscribe again. Just make sure you do subscribe back again. Like, imagine you unsubscribe. Like, I'm going to go make a cup of tea. I completely forgot. And we're going to lose half of our subscribers instantly on 2CTV. Guys, make sure you, if you're going to click on subscribe, click subscribe again. Although it doesn't really fix it. The issue is from my side, not your side. When it comes to notifications, there are limited number of notifications that will be sent out every day. Templar says, no need to unsubscribe. All you have to do is click on the notification bell. Yeah, that's the thing. Click on the notification bell or unclick and then click again. Not the actual subscribe. The subscribe button doesn't actually do anything for the notification bell. If you want to reset the notification bell, yeah, but as Templar says, if you click on all, because if you just press it once, it's not all. You have to press it and then click on all. You got number of options, personalized. That's the only way. But the rest of it is still not up to you, really. You still won't get all the notifications because within 24 hours, only 3 notifications will be sent out to you. And if you have already subscribed to many other channels as well, again, that will affect it as well. Unless you want to create just a YouTube account, Google account just for 2C TV. The only channel that will be subscribed will be that. That's the best way to get notified. All right, super chat there from Tasman saying, bro, I get my news from you because I can't trust the mainstream media. Big up to Andre as well. Thank you very much. Yes, Andre does a good job. Obviously, his channel is also political commentary, but it's still important because obviously political commentators must also react to the news that comes out. Trump is going to bring up a Southport in his speech. What do you think of mainstream media? I mean, he won't. Obviously, he won't. But if he does, that will be funny because the media will have to report it. He won't because obviously he's going to talk about America. He's the president of the United States. On that day, he's going to focus on the Constitution, not British politics. But if he does, then they'd have no option. They have to show it. Ivan says the government are scared as hell of what will come out after the trials. But that's the other thing. I mean, let's not forget. One thing is about what we're focusing on is the coverage of the trials. But let's not forget there's also the issue with the convictions. Because as far as we know, yes, there is a legal process. We're not going to prejudice the actual trials. But, okay, hypothetically, let's just say, hypothetically, if there is a case where someone kills a number of innocent people, and there has already been enough evidence about that person would be convicted. If he doesn't, then it's weird. If a person, hypothetical person, decides to go around and stab a British soldier somewhere at some point, and is being caught red-handed, obviously the conviction should come. If it doesn't, it's weird. Same could be applied to a Labour politician, any politician threatening people, right? The first issue we have is reporting, coverage. The second issue we have, the second step, is the convictions. And the third problem is sentencing. Because we have a massive problem in this country with punishment levels. I mean, we just reported earlier about that Victoria girl, the OnlyFans influencer, what do they call them? OnlyFans models. OnlyFans model who threw a milkshake at Nigel Farage, and she was caught on camera. She also admitted her punishment is suspended sentence. She's not actually even going to jail. So let's not forget, even if you get the coverage, even if the person gets convicted, you could still have a problem at the final stage. Marvin says Andre Walker might go on a bit, but I like watching him. You should see Andre at a house party or in a pub when we have a drink. He could talk for hours. You think I can talk? Andre can talk. Luckily, he does talk a lot, but he actually has good stories to tell. Whatever the topic is, he just links it to a story he knows from back in the day. So, all right. Anthony Quinn is spot on. Life should mean life. And if they get anything less, it's down to two-tier Keir and his Gestapo. The problem is just systemic again. Let's not forget, even if you get rid of Keir Starmer, the problems still exist. So it's not really, again, the establishment want you to focus on the individuals, like one minister, one prime minister. And they say, hey, the one you didn't like is gone now. Are you happy? No, because the problem is still there. So the actual justice system must be completely reformed. Otherwise, there's no point. It doesn't matter if Starmer is prime minister or not. Pauline says the 2C he trashed you. Who's he? Is that Starmer? Why is Starmer talking about me? It would help if we have more context in the comments. I don't know who Pauline is actually talking about. Who trashed me? I mean, a lot of people trash me. It helps them. Hang on, let me find out. Who are we talking about? I'm trying to find out if Pauline did put some context in his previous comment or not. I'm really interested. Oh, there we go. Andre Walker has trashed 2C about the police. It's on his site. I have no use for backstabbing. I just had a chat with Andre like 2 hours ago. He's also going to be my groomsman at my wedding. I did watch his video. It was the last night that I did a video. He didn't trash me in the video. Has he done another video? What's he done? Should I remove him as my groomsman? Hang on. Why he's loud? No, the last video is last night, which he said why Maya won't give proof of bullying, which, by the way, because it was slightly inaccurate, it's not that I'm holding evidence or anything like that. I don't know anything. The police are not telling me anything. It's not like I can't say much. I don't know anything about who leaked the reports. But no, he wasn't trashing me. He's still my groomsman. Everything's fine. By the way, there is a lot happening at the same time. You know how some days there's just completely quiet. There's nothing happening in the news. Actually, today everything is happening at the same time. The German government is falling apart. The deputy prime minister has resigned. In Canada, we have this happening. Obviously, Keir Starmer has now confirmed our first live stream, which was about cancelling a number of the local elections in May. That's now been confirmed. The Irish president is losing his mind. We're going to talk about that. Assad has released a statement. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. Stick with us. Don't unsubscribe. Just click on notification bell. Click on all. Don't go anywhere. It's only 5 o'clock. It's only almost 5 o'clock in the UK. We're going to come back almost on an annual basis. What am I saying? Hourly basis to give you guys all these updates that you might have missed. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C and we are the media.